like not walking past the trash, making the chrome shine, being a little bit better at starting IVs, studying a little bit more on fire tactics. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes little teeny tiny little increments to improve. Okay, and then remember how it makes you feel, like I mentioned. Remember how it makes you feel. When things went well, when a mega code or a cardiac arrest went well, when a car fire went well, how did it make you feel? And that's something you try and achieve all the time, right? All the time, that's what we're trying to achieve. How true is that? You busted your ass, you accomplished something, you feel good about it. Do you want to just keep doing it? Do you want to keep feeling that way? Do you want to keep working hard? Totally appreciate that. The harder you work, the better you feel about yourself and the way things and your outcomes, and so you just keep at it. This kind of goes with what Kyle said. You know, discipline, attitude, caring, just a little bit harder.
You know, there's an athlete in the news these days. I mean, you see it all the time, and we just got done with the Winter Olympics, and then they had the Paralympics behind it. But there's a college athlete that's projected to be, you know, one of the draft picks in the NFL that lost like most of his arm, and he's a linebacker, and he's outworking those that have everything.
Right.
But he could have been destined to be nothing more after he lost his arm as a kid. But he's determined to make it to the NFL, and he's going to, with one arm.
Right. Because he was determined to.
Because he was determined to.
Hard work.
Hard work.
I wasn't going to let anything stop me. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about the next thing, practice. How do we practice in the fire service?
Train.
Train and train and train and train and train. How do we train? Do we just go through the motions?
Something like you work.
A lot. We should be training like we work, right? Should be working hard, for sure. Okay? Practice, training, all the same thing. But practice is part of getting better, working harder, part of the hustle. Right? Because if you don't know what you're doing and you're not well versed in what you're doing, what's the outcome going to be? How prepared are you to deliver on a cardiac arrest or a house fire if you didn't practice? How smooth is it going to go if you're well practiced? When you're well practiced and things go well, that's, like we were talking about, that's the feel-good moment at the end. Because I tried hard, I worked hard, practice paid off.
Well, you know, I think you can see that in just about everybody in this room can think about something they do really well and that it's very easy for them to do.
I hope so, yeah.
Shiloh, how hard was it for you to prepare that lecture that you've done the last 3 days and stand up in front of a group of basically your peers, or, I mean, you're one of our most junior people, but how hard was it for you to stand up and do that?
Prep was easy. Standing in front of you guys terrified the hell out of me.
Okay, right? So as you practice, it's going to become a little bit easier for you, right? When I first, you know, when I first started, when I first started working with Brad, and after he sent me to the lumber store looking for a board stretcher, okay, it took me a long time to figure out how to do certain things, and he'd have to continually check me. But over time, I became better at it. Just like everything, starting IVs, incident command, you know, practice.
I remember when Scott was my captain, we'd be driving to lunch or driving down here to Station 51, and we'd pull off the neighborhood, and Scott would be like, size up on that house. All right, Medicaid 52 arrived. Fumble, 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 right? And how often do we fumble until that becomes more routine, before that becomes ingrained in us from the practice? And that's anything we do, right? The more IVs you start, the better you get at. Hopefully. Okay? The more you run, the better you get at running. Hopefully. The more you practice, especially, the better you practice, the more it pays off. So there is a book out there by a scientist who studies excellence. think, what the hell? How does one do that? But it's an amazing read, and the information that he provides is awesome. And he studies a lot of like professionals, like professional musicians, professional athletes, on what makes them who they are. Why is this the world's best violinist? Why is this the world's best marathon runner? And he studies what they do and what makes them that way, versus everybody else who's trying to be that person, and what's their roadblock into becoming the best. And there's 3 different ways that we practice. Routine practice is getting on your bike and riding 100 miles repeatedly, training for that ultra distance bike ride. You just ride, and that's it. You train for a marathon, you go out and you run, and you run, and you run, and you run. But you don't change it up, you don't challenge yourself, you just go through the motions. And it helps, it certainly builds, but it's not what you could be doing. It's trying to lose weight and doing the same thing all day long. You go and you run and you walk on the treadmill, and you're like, why am I not losing weight? Because all you do is walk on the treadmill. It's practicing for fires by just pulling hose. You just pull hose. You just pull a pre-connect. That's it. Just pull a pre-connect. Does that make you better? Kind of makes you more practice, but doesn't make you better. Okay, and you'll see what I'm getting to here in a minute. But routine is just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting great improvement without really getting there. Okay, versus deliberate practice, which is what these musicians and athletes are doing to be the best. In this study, this guy talks about 10,000 hours. You have to do 10,000 hours of something to obtain mastery. He says that's what some people think, and that's what a lot of people try to achieve. I've done 10,000 hours of this, I should be a master, and maybe they think they are. Okay, but 10,000 hours of a routine doesn't make you a master. It's deliberate change, it's challenging yourself, it's having somebody teach you and prepare you and challenge you to become better. Purposeful practice is kind of breaking things down and getting better at little parts of our job. This guy talks a lot about surgeons. And surgeons will practice maybe a certain procedure, like a certain type of cut or a certain type of organ removal. They take it down into little teeny tiny pieces and they practice on that. So for us, a full rest, can we dissect a full rest into 20, 30, 40 different little pieces and practice those individual little pieces? Practice at starting IVs, we practice at airway, we practice at chest compressions, we practice at putting on a auto pulse, we practice at oral airways and NPAs like we just did this last week. It's getting good at these individual little pieces so that you can put them together at the end and make yourself better. Deliberate practice is what people do to achieve mastery. It's the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 hours of practice that makes someone the world's best violinist. Okay, but the world's best violinist isn't just playing notes, playing scales, playing music. They're not just sitting down for 4 or 5 hours a day and just knocking out random stuff. What makes somebody better through deliberate practice is having a coach, is having a mentor, is having somebody critique you and challenge you and make you try things that are hard for you until you achieve those. And so how many in here can say they've had a mentor in this job? Have you ever had somebody that you looked up to who would give you feedback? Sometimes hard feedback that you don't want to hear. Has there anyone ever said, good job, but you didn't do this well, and you need to do this, and I challenge you to do this within the next little while to improve? Okay? Baseball coaches, soccer coaches, running coaches are always giving out the next step to their athlete. surgeons are watching videos of their previous surgeries to see what they did wrong. And they're having their partners look at these videos and see what they did wrong. And coming together and getting feedback and improving. So the best thing you can do to achieve mastery is to do your routine practice, but make it more deliberate. Find challenges, okay? Do your purposeful practice of breaking things down and getting good at the little things, the little pieces of the puzzle. And then your deliberate practice is finding someone to critique you, being willing to accept constructive criticism, to do things that are uncomfortable, whether it be, you know, life stuff or job stuff. Things that challenge you are going to build you up better than just going through the motions. All right, a little bit more let's talk about. Here's a quote that I learned in junior high band. The amateur practices until he gets it right. The pro practices until they can't get it wrong. Can you apply that to anything you do? Can you think about your career or your life and think, I could do that in this aspect. I could do that in this aspect. I could practice and practice and practice and practice and practice until I absolutely can't do it wrong. You know, that's going to take years and years and years and years to do, but I'm sure you could think of something you do that you could apply that to. Okay, what are some ways you guys practice? Besides pulling hose and running shit at the tower, what are ways you guys practice? You get better at this job. Ready?
I saw a thing on YouTube one time about mastering stuff, and it specifically talked about room clearings and SWAT stuff.
Right.
But the ability to practice in your head and visualize.
We're going to talk about that, yeah.
Visualize and then it makes it more real when it does happen because you reviewed that enough in your brain.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm a huge fan, and I've taught this to every student that I've ever had. Visualize. Okay, visualize a crack, visualize a cardiac arrest, visualize a car fire, a house fire, visualize pulling the hose, visualize hooking a hydrant. And that's something we should all be doing all the time. Visualizing yourself in that moment doing it right. Here's the thing. You can visualize yourself doing something wrong, and in your head, it becomes right. That's where you need this deliberate practice, where you need to visualize a way of doing things, but challenge that visualization regularly. Okay? Watch things that go right and watch things that go wrong. YouTube is great for that. How many fires can you pull up on YouTube and learn everything that did wrong and learn everything that did right and have that go into your slide carousel on how I'm going to do things? Okay? In my mind, I have a 4-step cricothyrotomy process. And forever I've had that. I mean, I have 4 steps and I can do it just like that. One day I watched an actual cric on YouTube and I was able to see what they were doing versus what I had visualized, and I learned a lot from it. I learned what they were doing right, and I also learned what part of my visualization was wrong with. That's a hawk.
I think doing that has helped me have a better ability to recall something
Right.
in an instance and make a critical decision.
Totally. Yep, I agree. Because it's up there. It doesn't have to be created. You're able to pull those neurons all together that are used to that situation. And we should all do that. On everything. Even if you've been here for 20 years, you should still be visualizing in your head how to pull a hydrant, how to work a hydrant. Because there are times when you get to the hydrant and you're like, oh shit, this isn't working right. This isn't what I visualized. How can I overcome and adapt? So again, go back and look at things that go right, look at things that go wrong, and correct and make sure that your mental visualization is the right one. I think you guys will all probably know somebody like this, but I think of paramedics that they're pretty damn proud of themselves. And I'll explain why. I'll explain how I'm getting there. They've been doing it for a while. They think they're pretty damn good. And you run on calls with them and you're like, this person sucks. This person should be fantastic as a paramedic. They've been doing it for a long time. They run a lot of calls. And doing this kind of stuff has helped me realize why they are the way they are. Why are they not as good as they think they are and as good as they probably should be? And a lot of that has something to do with mentoring and critical feedback.
And them going through the motions.
Right.
I am training.
Yeah.
I am doing it, but if I'm not getting mentoring or critical feedback, all I'm doing
Yeah.
is going through the motions.
Exactly. I'm gonna pick on Davis County a little bit, but how many do you guys know somebody at Davis County that thinks they're pretty damn good? And they should be good by how long they've been a paramedic. Davis County doesn't have the same kind of dynamics and environment that we do. As those paramedics, they don't have an officer to critique them. They don't have a crew to call their own that will be honest and forthcoming with them and provide feedback. And to me, that is a serious disadvantage that they have that we don't, is that they don't have the mentor, they don't have the critique like we do. And I can think of lots of them that they are good. I'm not going to say they're not good, but they don't know what they don't know because they haven't been critiqued. They don't have that mentorship. And I think we're super lucky that we have that. And I invite all of you to play that mentor role and to provide critique to everyone that you can. You officers especially. You guys have people that look up to you that need to be improved, and you're not critiquing them, you're not criticizing them, you're making them better. You're giving them challenges to overcome. And I'm sure we can all think of those things in our career that were uncomfortable for us, but we improved from it.
Well, and those of you that maybe aren't in that spot, I mean, and every one of us will be in that spot, either for a younger sibling or a child or something like that. But when it's your turn to be in that spot, make sure that you're ready to accept that feedback, accept that mentorship, accept that critique, because if you're not, then it becomes negative.
Right.
And then it becomes punitive, and then it becomes...
Then it's a mental roadblock of improving, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. What else? What else do you guys do to practice? Besides pulling hose.
Maybe I'm talking too much, but
Please do.
I had a private drone teacher for 6 years that I used her, and she drove into me always to not just practice, but have perfect practice. To understand the mastery of the skill and slowly start from crawl and work up to the full scale strength of it, and then practicing that in a perfect manner.
Right.
So you can master it.
Yeah, she brought you back to step A and made you start from step A. Even if you thought you were already at step Z,
Right.
yeah, no, I'm good. I got it. And they're like, no, you don't got it. Go back here and start at step A. One of the things I really like about the way we've been training lately is that we build on our training. We start at the basics of pulling hose and doing fire attack, basics of airway. We start at that basic level and then build up. We all know it. We all know how to put an MPA and an OPA. But when you get a room full of people giving their own 2 cents and giving their own experience, is it possible for someone like me who's been doing this for 22 years now to learn something about a basic airway? Sure as shit. Okay, go into your class, learn something. You should always be willing and looking for those chances to learn something. The other thing I want to bring up is checklists. How many of you guys are sitting in the bathroom and you reach the end of the internet and think, now what? Okay? Let me invite you to pull out your checklists. Do we have checklists on things?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a 5-man evolution checklist?
Yes.
Do. Believe it or not, we do. Mitch told me something pretty cool that Syracuse Fire does, is they put their cardiac algorithms above the pisser. So when you're standing there, I can review my cardiac algorithms while I'm standing here.
The only reason why I can remember amiodarone's 5 milligrams per kilogram on PALS is because I
Pediatric,
was
right?
looking at it when
I forgot a graphic that I was going to put up, and I feel bad for not putting it up, but a 10-minute crap every single day will give you a 40-hour vacation every year in your job, if you didn't know that. The flip books, the EMS guidebook flip books, how many of you guys have one of those? Where do you pull it out at? Let me invite you to pull it out on the crapper. Pull it out on the crapper and read it. Go through your checklists, not just on calls, because pulling it out on the crapper teaches you how to use it on calls. The worst place to learn how to use a checklist is on a call, right? Pulling out a Braswell tape on a call that you've never even seen before, isn't the time to get things done, and it's certainly not the time to look like a fool. So get out your checklists. We have airway checklists. We have 5-man evolution checklists. We have Fog Guide is an entire book of checklists. Checklists are something that gives you the ability to know and to remember. But knowing how to use your checklists, where they are, when you need them, allows you to offload cognitively some of the stuff that's going through your head. My entire career, I've always prided myself in knowing my pediatric dosages, and I knew those pediatric dosages. After starting at AirMed and learning a hell of a lot more and getting better at what I did, I stopped worrying so much about remembering my pediatric dosages because I had just too much crap going on up there. Because I knew where to find my pediatric dosages. Where are they? On your Braswell. Know how to use your checklist, know when to use your checklist, practice using your checklists, and use them for that purpose, to cognitively offload. If you reach a bind at commanding a fire, if you reach a bind on an RSI, if you reach a bind on anything, cardiac arrest, know where to go for the next step. Take that deep breath, reset, and go. I'm just screwing a Scott. Move the phone. Go to your checklist. Go and practice using them. Don't be surprised if you start seeing checklists, pop up in your bathrooms. I really, really like that idea of Syracuse putting the algorithm on in front of the pisser. Have something to read besides your phone in the bathroom, or have your checklist on your phone. How many of you guys have some sort of medical reference on your phone? When was the last time you used it? Yesterday. Good. Practice so that when you do use it, it's easy to use. How else?
Another good checklist that you advocate, and it really brings it home, is on critical calls. We get into the safe environment and you give everybody the tactical pause and go, all right guys, airway, breathing, circulation. Right. Just basic checklist. All right.
On everything that we do, every single situation that we do, we will probably get to that point where it's just like chaos. Structure fires have gone to the point of chaos. Car fires, cardiac arrests, simple chest pains have all gone to these points where you're just like, holy shit, it's chaos in here. What can you do? The tactical pause. All it takes is you pull yourself back, take the tactile breath, and there's literature on tactical breathing. Then it's just that. It's calming yourself for just that moment and getting everybody else to calm for that moment. To pat my own back real quick, we had a we had a call up here by the mall where a guy was hit by a car. We called for a helicopter. And we got the patient in the back of the ambulance, and it was just pure chaos. I mean, the helicopter is coming and landing. The guy's dying. we put a tourniquet on, and everybody was just like super, 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 super amped. I was OIC that day, so I was already amped, you know, freaking out with helicopter incoming and stuff. And then I noticed one of our new cops was setting up the LZ. She was the hot one. And in my mind, I thought, everybody should check this out. And I thought, hey, everybody, check her out. And everybody's like, what the fuck is he talking about? And everybody stopped and they turned and they looked. And I said, okay, let's start from the beginning. We started from the beginning. And things went from here to here, and things were smooth. Things were super, super smooth. And I was part of the problem. I forgot that I was the guy holding the radio, and I should have been doing that in the first place. I should have been hands off, watching, controlling, but I was getting to be part of it. But I found a reason to withdraw, to take that tactical breath, to reset everybody, and it worked. And that's part of your practice. See it?
10:50.
You're gonna miss the best part.
511.
Brother, can you do a tactical pause for us?
The next little bit's just gratuitous YouTube on cool stuff. He did a bike change.
Et il a changé de vélo là? Je suis pas sûr de l'avoir eu. Hein.
Wow. You can see it
Et
happen.
il a changé de vélo là? Je suis pas sûr de l'avoir eu. Hein.
Slow motion, it was fast. Versus this guy and this team. He's going from a time trial bike to a road bike for a crazy purpose, but whoops, shit. Which one practiced? Which one deliberately practiced with their team? Who brought up the challenge and says, okay, we have to do bike changes every once in a while. This is how I think we should do the bike change. Let's practice and practice and practice and rehearse mentally and talk and improve and build upon it. Which one practiced? This guy. Oops. You guys have probably seen this one. Deliberate practice. Four tires in less than a second. Was there chaos? Was there calm? Did everybody have a role? Did they practice that role? You safely assume that they practiced and practiced and practiced, right? There was like a dozen people there for 4 tires. What if they're stepping over each other, trying to do each other's job? 3 tires bouncing down the road, people tripping on each other. They would have lost the race. I mean, I don't know if you guys won, but is there anything we do that's that good? Really seen that. anything we do that could be done as a pit crew, as a team.
Pit crew CPR.
Right. That's what we're doing. This was just me screwing around one day with camera settings.
Were you at Syracuse Fire?
You think so, huh?
Huh.
Those shorts.
Look at those. Loser.
I like it, Mitch.
Can we train as a team for those amazing outcomes on cardiac arrest, on house fires? We have a 5-man evolution worksheet, checklist that we can practice off of and work exactly this way where everybody knows their roles and that's what they do and everybody can get good at that role and improve. We have the ability to do this in many, many, many of our situations. It's not just cardiac arrest.
Does a patient receiving ROSC mean that we were or if the patient ends up dying, does that mean we were unsuccessful? No, it does not. It means, you know, we can have that good work as a team and still have the patient die because, you know, that's gonna happen.
Right.
But if we walk out of there going, wow, we gave it all we had right there.
If you walk out, yeah, if you walk out with your head high, because you did your best, you worked efficiently, you worked as a team, that's success right there. The outcome doesn't matter, it's what you feel about it, it's how your team feels about it. Oh, what happened there? Should be a video. So we'll end the practice part with this. I always found it interesting that, especially in this profession, there's people that don't smile, there's people that they're not happy, jovial all the time, they're pretty serious. But when they get done with like a great cardiac arrest or a great house fire or a great scenario where things went smoothly, efficiently, perfectly, everybody's walking out of there with a smile on their face. Their head held high, feeling good about it, not kicking themselves for doing something wrong, okay? Go out there and practice, find somebody to challenge you, be a mentor to others, and that's the way you're going to achieve mastery, or close to it anyway, okay? Do what's painful, do what's difficult, challenge yourself, and build on it. This is a Scott Monism right here. Doctors go to school for 12, 14, 16 years. Do they ever think, that's too long? That's too long. Maybe in the moment, they're like, this was way too long. But when they've been a doctor for a while, do they ever think, ah, it was too long? That was too much. Absolutely too much. Do you ever get done with training at the tower and think, I wish we hadn't trained today? Right? We might think, I wish I don't have to go training today all the time. But when you're done, do you ever think, I wish we hadn't trained? I don't think anyone's ever said it. Maybe you?
No, something that goes along with that is a saying I heard the other day. I'm sure you guys have heard it, but seems like an Air Force pilot or something like that. He says that you're never gonna rise to the occasion.
Right.
You will always fall to the level of your training.
Absolutely, 100%. I like that a lot. And that's in every tactical situation. You'll forget what you want to do, but you'll always end up doing what you practice doing. So again, practicing right, mental visualization, checklists, training, pulling hose, training as you play, as Ralph said. Practice as you play. So when you're pulling hose, when you're working a hydrant, do it full speed all the time. When you're doing training in the tower, are you wearing your leather gloves or are you wearing your structured gloves? Do you have your hood on when you're training, or do you leave it off because it's too hot? Practice as you play. Go back to your defaults. Go back to your level of your training, and that's how things are going to be. So get out there and do it. Work hard. Okay, the next little bit is just tons of videos I want you to just enjoy. We'll talk about it here in a minute. Have you guys ever been that good at anything you've ever done?
No. Or how about how much having that fun?
I've had that fun, yeah, for sure, but think about that. What have you ever done that you've been that good at and that passionate about, that was your work ethic? What do these guys have hustle?
Mhm.
Yeah, they do. What makes hustle? I haven't bothered looking up the definition of hustle. I kind of came up with it on my own. That's part of it. To me, hustle is work, hard work. It's practice, and it's passion. It's giving a shit about what you do and wanting to be better, be the best, being able to be the best because you practiced and you're good at it. And that kind of stuff just, it gives me goosebumps on how I need to step up my game.
I think one thing you could add to that is I think a lot of those guys, they take pride
Yeah.
in what they do, and that's what drives
It's
you along.
it's them, it's their passion. Do we have people here in this department that are passionate about stuff? Could you pick people out and be like, I know his passion, I know her passion, I know his passion? Who are they?
Jason and Arrowhead.
What's Jason Cook's passion? Arrowhead. It's been his passion forever, and he practices it. He reads about it, he studies it, he provides feedback and challenges. That's his passion. Declan. Fishing and providing books and education for other people.
But he's very good.
He is. Not by luck, not by dumb luck. Okay? Who else? Who else has passions in here? Mitch, what's mine?
Cycle.
Yeah?
Like technology.
Yeah? I like a straight journey.
Oh yeah.
I like clean rims on a fire truck. Everybody's has their passion. And that's the cool thing about how the teams we have here at Layton Fire. Everybody has a passion. And rarely is it the same passion, which is what makes it such a cool team. It's such an awesome team where we can have everybody providing, what they're able to provide. Okay? I really like this one too. What we repeatedly do, excellence. Okay? okay? It's not an act, but a habit. What level do you function at every day? What expectation do you have for yourself every day? And that could be on anything, on fire attack, cleanliness, attitude. It all comes back to what is your own expectation. This is like 6 minutes of gratuitous Nike commercials. They're awesome.
Greatness, it's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars. And the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us. Some people are told they were born with greatness. Some people tell themselves.
If greatness doesn't come knocking at your door, maybe you should go knock on its door.
Sometimes greatness is about overcoming insurmountable adversity. Sometimes it's just fun.
Greatness isn't always measured in tenths of a point. It's a bit bigger than that.
Sometimes greatness is something you burn.
Can you do that,
But most of the time,
Once.
it's just something you try.
Then I have to call 911.
It's easy to think greatness is only something you see on TV. Unless, of course, greatness is watching TV.
Greatness is a scary thing. Until it isn't.
If we think greatness is supposed to look a certain way, act a certain way, and play a certain way, we certainly need to rethink some things.
Is it speed or endurance? Does it happen in 2 hours or 4 or 6? Is it finishing strong or barely finishing? Yes.
Is greatness worth fighting for? What do you think?
If we face our fears, it means we're pointed in the right direction. Even if that direction is upside down. It's not the biggest stadium in the world. Not the biggest players either. But the pursuit of greatness is kind of big enough, isn't it? You don't need an official court, an official net, or official uniforms to be officially great. Greatness speaks for itself. Once it learns to talk. greatness needs a lot of things. But it doesn't need an audience. Some measure greatness in precious metals, like iron. Greatness is not born. It's made. If you'd like to tell the guy with the sword he's not great because he's not famous, be my guest. There are no grand celebrations here. No speeches, no bright lights. But there are great athletes. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is reserved for the chosen few, for the superstars. The truth is, greatness is for all of us. This is not about lowering expectations. It's about raising them for every last one of us. Because greatness is not in one special place. And it is not in one special person. Greatness is wherever somebody is trying to find it.
There you go. Find your passion. Thanks for letting me come talk. I hope it wasn't stupid. Just listen to your inner self and work that a little bit harder. Hustle that a little bit faster. You know, work with your team, build your teams up. I promise you, the hustle is gonna make you feel good. You're gonna wanna do more. And always remember why we do this job. And why we hustle. Why we get out to bay as fast as we can. Turn out as fast as we can. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, Luke.